Welcome back. Giving up your car can be one of the hardest decisions to make.
But seniors don't have to give up their freedom when it's time to hand over the keys. Joining us now is Anne Scallon from Before the Wheel, and normally she helps us prepare teenagers for life on the road and their parents. But today we asked her to help us about keeping elderly drivers and others safe as well on the road, because I think it's a sensitive topic.
Yes,
but it's very
definitely
important to talk about. So over 25% of the population in Wisconsin is elderly. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
And the number of drivers that are over 65 has increased 38%.
Wait.
Boy, 65.
So our viewers are saying, like, wait, is elderly over 65?
Yeah.
Is that what qualifies as an elderly driver?
That seems so young. 'Cause my dad is 94, and he just went through this whole thing. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did.
Yeah.
And we also heard in the news, Wisconsin is the worst when it comes to crashes for elderly drivers. So.
Yes. Definitely.
So what do we need to know about it? When we think about the concerns of someone who's older and aging and driving, we're not as worried about those at 65, but we're worried a lot about different reasons as people age that can cause concern. So how do we address, first and foremost, just individuals who are elderly, who need care, or who maybe shouldn't be driving?
Well, the first thing to do is drive with them.
Okay.
And a lot of times we want to do the easy route, like we want to be the driver, have them sit in the passenger seat, but let them drive so you kind of know where they're at.
Because what are we looking for?
Well, are they missing cues? You know, other drivers make signals through facial expressions or waves or things like that. Are they missing that? Are they, you know, not responding to the lights in a timely manner? Are they uncomfortable?
Yeah.
A lot of it too is if they're in the side roads that they're familiar with. It's very similar to when we start the driving for teens, the phasing privileges. We have a set of privileges. So if you can kind of get them to do errands and things that they're accustomed to, going to the bank, going to the fast food restaurant.
So you see the best case scenario is kind of what you want to see too.
Yes, exactly. To keep it as long as possible, because it is their ticket to freedom.
It
is. And they feel very limited once you take those privileges
they feel trapped in the house.
Right.
Like my father, he had to go through this whole testing process to see, and they did take his license away, but they gave him, and this must be a program, he can go within a 5-mile radius.
Oh.
Okay.
Is that something?
Okay.
Like
was that in Wisconsin?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Manitowoc.
Okay.
So he can go to the store, he can go to the bank, but that's it.
So those usual routes.
Right.
Because some of it is eyesight related. Some of it can be, you know, cognitive or muscle stiffness and dexterity, just being able to respond quick enough.
Right.
But medications is also a big thing that we need to be aware of.
Right. So you need to know what type of medications they're on and go with them to the pharmacy and talk about how these medications mix.
Yeah.
And you especially want there not to be any alcohol involved.
Right.
Because once you add alcohol with medication, you've got, you know, a difficult situation.
So this overall, I would think, would be a very hard conversation to have with your elderly loved one.
Right. So again, it's the same thing I advise when you're working with a teen is sit down in a positive environment. So after you went driving with them, you kind of know where they're at, and you want to start to lay the groundwork. So even if they're not in bad shape at that time, you want to start to lay the groundwork that their privileges will be limited, because highway driving is very difficult to manage. You know, people merging in and out, going fast, swerving in between lanes. And so you want to start saying, you know, maybe we should just take that out of the picture. People are different though. My mom, when her license came up, she said, well, that's easy. I'm not going to renew my license.
Oh. So she didn't really care to drive.
fine
She
with
didn't
it?
really care.
Does she have another person that drove her around?
Well, yeah, she has a large, you know, 6 children.
Yeah. So she had ways to be mobile and get where she needs to go. If she wants to go to church,
that's the
go
upside.
to the restaurant.
But you have these people who don't want to give their keys up. So how do you convince them that they still will have freedom, that they still will have a bright future?
Or what reactions should you be wary of or ready for?
Right. Well, I find with the men, it's especially difficult. I mean, they really want to be, you know, they've had an exciting life, they had their career, now they gave up their career, and every time they turn around, they're giving up something. And so you want to be very delicate about it and just tell them we're still going to be doing a lot of things. And if you have, you know, if it is a parent or a grandparent, just make sure you're talking to other people in the family, and they're going to share responsibility of making sure that senior gets out and is able to do fun things to look forward to.
Yeah.
Not think that, okay, now I'm inside. This is going to be my life going forward, because that's just, they're going to be very depressed.
Depressing, right.
Yes.
When do you have the conversation? Because I think so many families start having conversations around holidays. I know Easter's coming up, different things like that. You know, are those good times or are those bad times to start having conversations like this?
So holidays are always bad times to have conversations, because you know, the holiday is the holiday, and so you wanna have the conversation with the person completely separate. And,
Great advice.
And give them a chance to start to assimilate let them make their arguments. You know, maybe they feel pretty strongly that they are still pretty good, and maybe you're overreacting too.
Yeah.
So you want to work with your senior and be flexible and just work with it. And obviously, like you said, you have somebody who's driving at 100 years old. So some people do have that capacity. And other people, it can be as early as, you know, 75 or 80, they should stop driving.
So on Easter, do not have an egg hunt where at the end there's a note that says, sorry, you can't drive anymore. Like, don't do that.
No.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
But it is, I told you in the break, it's my fiance's great uncle. He's turning 100. He just passed his test, just bought a new car.
Oh,
it's crazy.
he passed his test. That's fabulous.
Yeah, it's
See, my dad did not pass his test.
Right.
But then he got
Well, I'm
that
not sure if there's a limited pass or not here,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
from my understanding, it's good to go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You can always find out more about Before the Wheel at beforethewheel.com. It's great advice, again, for teens, parents, and even with elderly, different conversations about driving that are needed. Thanks so much, Anne.
Thank you.